Okay, algebras, let's make the key for our Unit 4 review. All right, remember to pay attention to what you are being asked to do. They're asking me to factor. So I'm going to look at what I have, and I'm going to see, I see two best friends, two perfect squares. So 3x and 3x plus minus 2 and 2. Let's talk about this exponent. Evenly divided cubes and cubes. 3x cubed plus 2, 3x cubed minus 2. If you're unsure of what you came up with, go ahead, FOIL it, and put it back together and see if that helps. All right, let's take a look at number 2. I see my x squared and my y squared, so when I draw my parentheses, I know there's an x and an x. I know there's a y and a y, because this middle term is an xy. Minus 6, but plus 5. This minus means one sign is positive and one sign is negative. How do I get 6 and 5 as a sum? It sounds like positive 6 and negative 1. Oh, here's a cube, but wait a minute, not really. Let's take a 4 out, and there I find my 8x cubed minus 1. My a is equal to 2x, my b is equal to 1. If I follow the SOAP pattern, I get my binomial and my trinomial. So I have 2x, same sign, minus 1. And then here's my square, 4x squared, opposite sign, always positive. The square of my b and my a and my b multiplied together. So remember, in factoring, if I reach something that's prime, I don't need to worry about it. That's only a worry if I'm solving or finding a solution. All right, let's take out a 3. And that leaves me with 3 times x squared minus 8. Or this is x to the 4th, I'm sorry. 3x to the 4th, 8x squared plus 16. So my 3 stays out here as part of the factoring, and I'm going to go ahead. This middle term of x squared lets me know that these 4 x's were divided up evenly. If I have a positive 16 as a sum and a negative 8, that's a square double square, and I can factor it into that perfect binomial pair. All right, when I solve, now I'm solving, which means I need to find out answers for my variables. Okay, so I have my fourths, my squareds, my quadratics, and my linears. I'm going to go ahead and take out an x, and that leaves me with x cubed plus 2x squared plus 5x plus 10 is equal to 0. So I know right away I have one of my answers. X is equal to 0 for that x. I'm going to go ahead and factor by grouping, see if that helps me out within that greater my x stays. Pull out an x squared, and that leaves me with an x plus 2. I'm going to pull out a 5, and that leaves me with an x plus 2. So my x is here. Here's my x plus 2. And here's what's left is my x squared plus 5. This x is equal to 0. X plus 2 is equal to 0, so x is equal to negative 2. I'll add that to the list. X squared plus 5 is equal to 0. X squared is equal to negative 5. X is equal to plus or minus I root 5. Plus or minus I root 5. I had a 4th degree polynomial, and I needed to find 4 solutions. There they are. All right, before I can do anything, I always need to make sure that my equation is set equal to 0. X to the 4th plus 3x squared minus 10 is 0. My middle term lets me know that maybe I can evenly divide my x's. X squared here, x squared here. Negative 10 sounds to me like positive 5 and negative 2. Both of these are prime, but I need to continue solving. I can't just stop because now I have an equal sign and I need to find my solutions for x. X squared is equal to negative 5. X is equal to plus or minus I root 5. X squared is equal to 2. X is equal to plus or minus root 2. When I list all 4 of my solutions for x, I'll list plus or minus I root 5. There's 2 of them, and plus or minus root 2. All right, x to the 4th is equal to 1. I'll go ahead and divide by, maybe I'll subtract 1. 4x to the 4th minus 1 is equal to 0. So I'll go ahead and divide that up into 2x squared plus 1 and minus 1 is equal to 0. We'll go ahead and solve this one first. 2x squared plus 1 is equal to 0. 2x squared is equal to negative 1. Divide by 2, divide by 2. X squared is equal to negative 1/2. Square root, square root. X is equal to plus or minus, here's I times 1 over the square root of 2. I'll rationalize that denominator. And I end up with x is equal to plus or minus I root 2 over 2. Now let's do this solution. 2x squared minus 1 is equal to 0. 2x squared is equal to 1. X squared is equal to 1/2. Draw a little line here so we can see the difference between the two solutions. X is equal to plus or minus the square root of 1/2. We'll go ahead and multiply times root 2 over root 2. X is equal to plus or minus root 2 over 2. So all of my solutions for this one together are x is equal to plus or minus I root 2 over 2 and x is equal to plus or minus root 2 over 2. Notice this I is because I again had a positive, and that made me take the square root of a negative number. All right, let's take a look at number 8. I can take a 2 and an x and a squared out, and that's going to leave me with 1x minus 3 is equal to 0. My 2x squared is equal to 0, so my x is equal to 0. X minus 3 is equal to 0. X is equal to positive 3. So this one's interesting. I had 3 roots to begin with, which means that 0 is a double root. Here it is. We don't have plus or minus 0, but I know that 0 is a double root and 3. All right, that's page 1. We'll take this bit by bit.